It's morning, and that means it's time for Rotten Mornings. The best way to start your morning off rotten.
Well, good morning.
Well, good morning.
How you doing this morning, Matt?
I'm doing great this morning. How about yourself?
I'm exhausted.
I feel you. Me too.
Yeah. Guys, it is another episode of Rotten Mornings, and you got us both here, which came as a surprise.
Yeah. You got us all here, actually. Brandy's right here, too.
Ta-da!
Oh, hey, Brandy.
Hello.
So we had a very tiring night last night. Before we get into, what'd you do last night, Matt?
Oh, I went to the spook trail, and I'm still soaked in sweat the next morning.
That's crazy.
Dude, it's so freaking hot.
Do they teach you about baths? Like you could just, it doesn't matter.
No. What's a who? A how do you how do you say it?
Bubble bath. Yeah, that's it. Did you what? Now you shared a story with me when you were leaving there. Did you want to save that, or did you want to share that here?
No, I will share that here because I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know if they'll be super happy with me doing that. To tell you the truth.
That's fair.
But yeah, was out of the spook trail. Got to do some spooking. Happened to have my mask with me. So it was getting toward the sort of the end of the night, and saw a couple of guys, some bigger guys, playing with a football, whatever. So I come around the corner and scare the crap out of them, scare them into their car, scare them back out of their car. I get in their car with one of their girlfriends who's screaming. They're like, "Oh, get in the car with her." And then she calmed down, so she was actually not scared of me, and they were still scared of me. So that was funny too. So I walked back to the trail, and I just had some more friends show up, and it was getting late, so I was about ready to get out of there, honestly. So I walk over, scared him a little bit, and then I'm like, all right, I'm finna leave. So I lean to one of the biggest guys, and I get right in his ear, and I'm like, hey, man, you want to know the scariest part? And he's like, what's that? And I'm like, I don't even fucking work here, dude. And then I ran and I jumped in my car and I hauled ass off and left. And they were looking at me like, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck? It was so hilarious.
That's awesome. That's great, man.
It was so good. And I got to film a couple of shots of me haunting in the house as well. So hopefully those came out. I haven't even looked at them yet.
Oh, okay. I tuned in for a little bit of your live, and you were just looking around a corner, and it was like the creepiest, like stalker vision.
I gotta agree with that too. I tuned in for a little bit of his live as well, and I kind of wondered if he knew he was live for a little while there.
Well, there was a part of it where, because I'm standing in line for something else, so I'm just trying to pay attention to live, and stay in line. But I look down, and there's like dark on both sides of the camera frame, and it's looking out, and I'm thinking, oh, he doesn't know he has his camera on, and for some reason, the camera is looking out his open fly.
That's when I was looking through the little cut in the sheet.
Yeah.
I was trying to record people because I was just standing kind of off behind everything, and people in line would notice me through, like, just barely see me, like they thought they saw something. So I was recording them, like, trying to figure out what the hell was in the woods watching them.
That's awesome. I'm glad you had a good time, man.
Yeah, it was good. Went through with a group of, like, there's like 8 different girls ranging from the ages of 18 down to like these 2 8-year-olds that weren't even with the group, but they went through with us. Man, those kids, one of the kids had to be taken out because she freaked the hell out. Like she was done.
Yeah. And then like she's taken out and you're like, hey, is she okay? And you walk over to her and she's like, funny thing is, I don't even work here.
You're an idiot.
Shut up. Shut up. Good times. Good times. All right, so let's go.
Well, now hold on a second. You don't want to.
Where did you go?
You don't want to tell them what you did? Because that's damn funny as hell. I cannot wait to talk to Tim.
Yeah. Trying to figure out how to do the reveal on that because I thought about doing the reveal while I was there, but it's so much better that I didn't. Yeah, so I went out to Hillbilly Hollow last night, and got to go through the attractions and had a blast. It was a great night. They had good crowds and all of that. And then I wear 2 masks when I go out to these haunts just because I'm trying to be super cautious. But I also wear a hat and a mask. You can't tell who I am. And I didn't tell anyone who I am. So, yeah, I had a conversation with Tim there for about 5 minutes, and him completely clueless about.
And didn't somebody actually call you and ask you to come out there, and you didn't even tell them you were out there?
Yes,
which is my favorite part. That is hilarious, dude. And I'm sure you saw Grim, and Grim hasn't met you yet, so you could have probably been completely out of costume. She wouldn't have known who you were.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the bad thing about that. I've been loving what she does and stuff like that. But there are several similarly outfitted.
Yes, Crystal, Summer, and her all are very, very closely costumed.
Yeah, and I'm with like 2 live wire people that I randomly picked up in the crowd to go through the haunt with me, and so I'm like trying to pay attention to them. So I was going to like very discreetly as I'm walking away from Grim, go stay rotten. But I couldn't.
Dude, you could have told anybody in there like, stay rotten, and they'd have been like, "What?"
Say,
I promise you, every single person that works at Hellbilly Hollow has almost sent me a video of saying I'm rotten.
That's awesome. I will tell you one thing that kind of happened. I kind of went in like not as rotten, just as me going out to enjoy haunts as I do, and I was just kind of curious because you had set it up in one place. I wondered if you had set it up in other places. So like when I go get my tickets, I'm like, hey, can I get the rotten treatment? And they're like, oh yeah, and they're like, in face.
That was probably Kim.
Yeah. And then when I'm talking to Tim, I'm like, man, this is great. I wonder if I can get like the rotten experience. And he like
pours pee on you,
and
I'm
so
sure.
No.
Have some lemonade.
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, I cannot wait to talk to Tim and laugh at his ass because he never noticed you were there.
So I do want to say this though. I do want to say like Tim, like, oh man, he's such a stand-up guy because I'm just like, it's weird. If like one person's at a haunt like by themselves, like, hey, random one person, like it's better to like talk to couples and stuff like that. I'm just one person, and I was just like, hey, can I get a picture with you? And he's like, yeah, sure, guy. And then like he's talking to me, and he's like, well, what other haunts have you been to? Just the nicest guy, right? And oh, hey.
Your visit, but we are currently closed. Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Can I have your order?
2 taco supremes, hard shell.
Today for the spooky. Spooky part.
Spooky
That's
breakfast.
it.
Spooky Taco Bell.
Thank you.
Okay. 4:38.
We're gonna make you famous.
Yes, ma'am. So Tim is like such a stand-up guy. Like he's just talking to this random guy who came out to his haunt. And he's like, "What other haunts have you been to?" And I was like, "Well, I went to Terror on the Coast. I went to Thriller Night of Lights, but that's not really a haunt." And he's like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "Well, if you're around, you should go check out. There's a lot of other great haunts here." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And he said, "Yeah, you should check out
Right.
Aatrox." And I was like, "What? That's interesting that you would say that." And then he said, I was telling him about some of my clown friends that are in town, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, well, you had some clowns come out. We're always looking for clown acts." And he was telling me about these clown performers that he had out there. And regardless of like the situation with Aatrox or with clown friends, he was still like promoting them. So I had to think to myself, I'm like, man, is this just such a stand-up awesome guy that he's going, man, regardless of what's going on in the industry, I'm going to promote everything.
Right.
We're all in this together. Or is he like, hey,
But I'm going to tell you
about the good stuff.
I'm going to tell you about the stuff that I don't normally tell people about.
Yeah, I'm giving you the douchebag recommendation. And hey, we're not. This podcast isn't to speak bad about anybody or anything like that, but it was kind of like that. Like
when you,
those are your recommendations.
So like, yeah, he was saying like all kinds of just really nice things about Bob, and me like, you wonder if like, Tim says all this nice stuff about Rotten, but then like he's like, yeah, I mean Rotten's all right, but they're not really our caliber. I really don't. I mean they're all right. And I was going to say to you, oh, no. If you really want to know if Tim likes somebody, it's when he'll talk shit about them publicly. If Tim says nice shit about you, he probably doesn't know what else to say. But if he says mean shit about you, it's probably because he really enjoys your company. My dog keeps farting on me. I'm just going to add that in. You bought Taco Bell, so.
That's okay.
God damn, it smells like my dog ate that.
Yeah. So let's talk about what we saw yesterday.
All right. Well,
silly haunts.
We had Rotten Mornings. Yeah.
You don't have to.
So far, so good.
This is going.
What was that about? What was the Rotten Mornings about? Lord,
dude, I don't even know.
Yes, it was Polybius. Yes,
was it Polybius. I like how Brandy said it. Like, yeah, it was Polybius.
Well, I was trying to remember. I was to that very, very early. It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
That's fair. I've never heard a sigh that sounds like an emoji for
that's the medium clap.
Yeah.
And so after that, we had the Abby Breaker episode of We Are Not Alone, which is one of our most famous episodes, or famous person in an episode. Wait, was that today or was that yesterday? I'm fucking that up.
Was that yesterday or the day before?
I mean, that was Thursday. Shit. God. I'm so terrible at this. So terrible at this. Okay, so let's try this again. Let's go back. Okay, so. Hey, a nice rotten morning. So, yeah. Yes, Brandy's here. Look at that. Yay. So anyways, like I was saying, yesterday we had episode 7 of Unfinished Reviews, which was the Insanatorium.
No, that was
Territorium. I'm still...
He always mixes those two up name-wise.
I do. Very different haunts, though. So we had that. That was a hit.
Okay.
After which we had my newest episode of Rotten Strips, and what did you think about that?
I like the fact that it premiered right at the same time as we reached 1,900 likes.
Right? Boom! We're killing 100 a day, dude.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so killing it. I was gonna make a whistle sound. I'm too tired for a whistle sound to come out.
I
head
found
just
that hard to
deflated.
believe.
I enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed it when I shot most of it. I enjoyed the part when I recorded most of it. So I think the only thing that I didn't either shoot or record.
I just remembered that some of our best episodes is when I take your stuff and I make it funny.
Oh God. Just coming straight in with
I
the
do
low
have
jab.
to say,
Okay.
both of you seem to get more inspiration and motivation from wanting to make fun of the other one in some way.
Oh, it's happened. Like,
Yeah,
we called it the other day when we were all together, and Matt's like,
exactly.
Yep.
mean to each other.
I was like, well, we're running out of ideas. It's going to start being the mean shit.
Actually, while we're on this topic, y'all brought up in one of these Rotten Morning episodes.
You had 2 taco supreme. Did you want any sauce?
Yeah, like 4 fire sauce.
What kind?
Fire. Just
Don't give me that weak ass medium
sauce. Wow,
I know, right?
It's so old, man.
Hey, I told my test decals joke. You got to tell your medium joke.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, this isn't what I ordered.
Too bad.
No, this is.
What's this mild sauce bullshit? Get it out of here!
How dare you insult me
Why
with
do I feel like you're filming this for your episode?
mediocrity?
So anyway, a point I was trying to make, y'all brought up in another Rotten Mornings episode recently that you think when I'm listening that I am talking to myself, perhaps. And I have to admit that is definitely the case. Although some of the time it is because I'm shouting out whatever word it is y'all can't remember.
Or name or anything.
That's the closest you're going to get to feeling like a ghost.
Bullshit, man. That's no different than her hanging out with us any other time. We run our mouth so much, she's probably over in the corner, like, saying everything we're trying to figure out, and we're just like, yeah, so anyway.
Well, yeah, that didn't happen. You're right.
We either talk so much or we talk like, if the recording gets bad, you notice that we say like the same amount of stuff and then pause the same amount of time. Well, I don't know how.
Miracle!
It's a miracle. Brandy's like, I would like to just say that thing, and y'all gonna shut up.
Well, yeah, that happened too. So, do we want to talk about what we have coming up later on today?
We do.
Right, it's already 20 minutes, almost 20 minutes in. Okay. Oh God.
So of course,
if you're listening to this, this is your first thing.
No.
What was this episode about Rotten Strips about? I don't know. Mornings, whatever the hell this is called.
Oh.
No, I can't either, I'm sure.
To find out.
Immediately after this, at 5 o'clock, by immediately I mean quite later, we will have the 7th episode of A Rotten House, which is a 2-part episode about spider webs.
Oh, fun.
Those are fun episodes. Those those last 2 episodes I overproduced because I had a hell of a time with those damn spider webs. But
Yeah.
I
thought we saw
think
a
maybe
preview of those,
yes, yeah. When I first released the thing about it, but I had a really good time with that one. And I'll tell you, if you guys want to figure out why you should buy a little bit more expensive web and how it's way the hell more worth it,
You will definitely see.
you will figure it out. Because I went, part 1 is the cheaper web and part 2 is the more expensive web, and you'll watch them and you'll see why and how to pick good spider web, because there is good web and very bad web.
And speaking from the perspective of someone who got to witness all the cussing without the camera on, I will definitely never buy the super cheap webs again.
Fair enough, guys. So it sounds
After
like we got an
we have your
exciting day.
episode of Rotten Scripts. I see how you tried to escape that under the window there, but yeah, don't forget you have an episode today.
I thought we were done,
end.
Much like the past, my friend, you may think you are done with it, but it is never done with you.
Okay. But I am done
As
with
am
this
I.
part of the podcast.
Next.
So you guys stick around for the sub-natural part of this podcast coming up next.
Sub-natural?
Yeah, because it's not that super.
That's right. You guys, as a reminder, you are listening to Rotten Reviews.
We are the substandard in haunts.
Stay rotten.
All right.
Oh, I got you. Stay rotten, guys.
Today's episode will be about the ghost of Bill Skeeto's hole. This is a real ghost story that takes place in the state of Alabama. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to communicate this to Matt prior to us recording, and I'm currently eating tacos. Oh my God, just talk. I've got a mouthful of taco.
Blah, 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 blah. All right, guys, welcome back. Now we're on the subnatural part of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed our intro. So, Scott, what did you think about the topic I picked today?
Just keep going.
Yeah, I'm going to kick it over to Brandy and get her thoughts on it.
Well, should be quite entertaining.
Right. Well, you all have a lot of knowledge about it, so there's that.
Keep going.
Are you eating tacos or sticking them up your ass?
No, I'm almost done.
Oh my God. Okay, guys, today our sponsor is Taco Bell. Ticaro Taco Bell. Get you a taco and have some fire sauce. Don't be a pussy.
And we're back.
Are we?
Kinda.
I
never really left.
Sorry.
Why?
Guys, I'm so excited about today's episode. It's one we have not covered yet. It is an actual real thing. If you guys remember our episode about Henry Wells and the face in the courthouse window, this is another one that people could go and see and check out. Of course, I am talking about the ghost. Shit, what is his name? Oh, sorry. The ghost of Bill Skeeto's hole. Yeah.
Okay, that's new.
For some reason, they decided That's what they're going to call this thing. The Ghost of Bill Skeeto's Hole.
What a horrible name for a ghost. You must have really not liked it.
So, in the Civil War, you had a lot of things going on, but Bill Skeeto apparently had joined the war, and then he had come back home to take care of his sick wife. And when it was time to go back, he didn't go back. And so these other soldiers, unhappy that he did not return to war, tried him for treason and hung him. Unfortunately, Bill Skeeto was very tall, so when they hung him, he still stood on the ground.
The unfillable hole? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
One of the 13 ghosts, isn't it?
It is.
That's awesome.
So we are continuing on. We've hit several of those, but we did want to talk about this. There's not much more information, but we can have a little bit of discussion about it, and I did want to. But one of the guys that hung him was on crutches because of a war wound. Like, this guy had been wounded in the Civil War, and he has just tried this guy for treason, who has abandoned the war that he got hurt in. So he uses his crutch to dig out a hole under Bill Skeeto so he will hang.
Right, because he was too tall to hang from the way they had him hanging.
That's right. So
it's a crazy, crazy way to be hung by not being hung until they could dig dirt out from under your feet. That's got to be the most, like, horrifying way.
I hate to say this, but, like, it just seems like some shit we would, like, hey, this guy, okay, good. Hey, we fucked up on the measurement of the rope, or we...
Right. It's just us. It's like, well, shit, he's touching the ground. He ain't gonna die. Well, what are we gonna do? Well, I don't know. We ain't got enough time to pull the rope up higher. Fuck it, dig a damn hole under him. Get your crutch out, buddy.
And like, Brandy's like, guys, why you're digging the hole? Like, all you have to do is tighten the rope up or tie a knot in it.
Pull the rope. Pull the fucking rope.
Shoot him. What are you guys doing?
Yeah. Well, how are we gonna kill him? Hell, I don't know. We got these guns. I know. Use your gun to dig a hole under him.
We should use a leaf blower to flip a car. So
that's what it is. Hey, Stu, how we gonna kill this guy? Well, I don't know, Joe. You got a gun? Well, damn, you're right. I do got a gun. Shit, I guess I'll dig a hole under him with it.
Okay. All right, but they hadn't hung him at that point. You just dug a hole under a guy. That just makes him lower.
Well, now he's lower to the ground. We're going to have to get a longer rope.
Well, we had all this rope. Well, use it to dig more holes.
I really don't understand why y'all have gone so far into this hypothetical conversation.
Because that's what this podcast is all about.
Yeah, because you're new here? I don't know.
Are you really going to have a 20-minute conversation about digging a hole under a guy that was hanging?
I'm not saying I don't expect it from you. I just still don't understand why.
And you know what? In all honesty, we love you for that because, God damn it, somebody has to have the logic in the group.
Right. It's definitely not us. Shit.
Okay, so the unfortunately named Ghost of Bill Skeeto's Hole it just cracks me up. So they say that if you put anything in the hole and you come back the next morning, the hole will be empty again. Wow, I've got the hiccups now from Taco Bell.
Yeah, you got those Taco Bell DTs kicking.
Delirium tacos. And they would say that it was the swinging feet of Bill Skeeto that would sweep out the hole. That's the story.
You know,
well, it would be was because the hole no longer exists now. Hole that could never be killed or covered was actually destroyed by a flood in 1990.
Well, Yes. So in 1990, a flood came, and in order to prevent the loss of the bridge, they took heavy stones and they covered the hole. And the going theory is that even though the hole is covered, it's not filled.
Yeah. That it has something
Yeah.
on top of it, but nothing inside of it.
Right. But
Well,
the
they
other
did
thing
do
too,
a recreation near
Yeah.
there. It's not the same
um,
thing.
it's not.
Well,
I mean, you can't move a ghost.
Yeah, no shit. Like you could just put a piece of paper on the ground and paint a smiley face on it, like they did in the courthouse when they changed the window out.
The other thought on that was that the swinging feet of this dead man would clear out, dirt, or would clear out leaves, or small rocks, but the heavy rocks put down there, his swinging feet wouldn't have enough to push out. So that's the two kind of ways that people talk about it being covered.
Well,
that was covered in 1990. Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of the things that wigs me out about it is like you hear of haunts, right? And you hear of like ghosts coming back to sort of avenge themselves, or to let people know what happened to them, or to rectify something, right?
Right.
Why in the hell would a hanging ghost constantly kick shit out of the hole that makes him hang?
Well, his body's not there either, and I know that
Well, I know his body's
some
not.
ghosts could be attached to items, but what item would have been left there?
But it could be, my opinion on ghosts is that ghosts are a scar on reality. When something horrible happens, it actually affects the atomic structure of matter in that area. But again, why would he remove the shit from the hole when the hole being there is why he hung in the first place? You would think the guy would want the hole covered up so he wouldn't be hanging all the time.
Yeah. That's true. And okay, so
well, maybe he stuck around to haunt the people that hung him.
I like to remind them of his hole.
So, like the guy with it, like the guy's son with the crutches comes walking through the woods and he twists his ankle in the hole and he's like, "Got him!
I got him! Ha ha!
Got him! Vengeance is mine!" Oh, that was crazy sounding.
40-year plan has come to fruition. I will say this though. So I was saying that we've been to so many places that are like the ghost story is someone died here, and
right.
If you park your car right here and then put your car in neutral, the ghost will come and push you up a hill.
Yes, there's definitely a place in Alabama that is definitely known for that.
Yes, and there's several of those, and they're becoming less. That story is kind of going away because that dealt with magnetism when you had all metal cars.
Yep.
And now that cars are mostly plastic, less of that.
Yeah, yeah. Huh. That's interesting. I never thought about that.
So I wondered if there was something that was inherently like magnetic or some sort of scientific reason why this hole wouldn't be filled.
And your conclusion?
If that was true, they would have not had to dig the hole in the first place.
Well, it kind of depends on how it was dug and what they did to hold the hole open to begin with.
Oh, holy shit. You didn't even think about the fact that you have a professional digger on this fucking podcast, dude. She's going to break this shit down science-wise.
So
Yeah, so
there are all kinds of hand-dug wells throughout the state that people still use for water.
That's true. So, do you know of any crutch dug wells?
I can't say that I do.
Was that crutch or crotch?
But it depends on the geology of the area and whatever they use to hold the hole open to keep it from collapsing. And it would have just, been something that would probably break down over time, but how much time, depending on what they use and what the natural geology of the area was.
That's
I'm not
fair.
familiar with that county per se, so I can't say what the natural geology is without looking at it. But I could see that there could be a natural scientific explanation for it.
But
possibly.
I would say when it comes to ghost and paranormal encounters, I don't personally know another paranormal encounter where the paranormal interacts so consistently with solid matter.
In the same way, yeah.
Yeah, because like a face in a window, that's one thing, or a spirit pushing a door, that's another thing. But a spirit literally removing something is a completely on its own haunt.
Well, I don't think that the intention was that it was removing stuff. It was just that its feet forever swung,
right,
and the feet swept.
How many other haunted areas do you know that are so on point? Oh my God, stop moving.
Is that me?
Yes, that's you.
Oh, sorry.
But that are so like Poltergeist. Do you remember the movie Poltergeist?
I've seen it.
Okay, they could mark the ground from point A to point B, and it would always work the same way. They could put the kid at the end of the mark, and he would slide to the other end, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of any other haunts that are so specifically the same thing over and over again. And the fact it's like he's like what? Like the ghost soccer player. He's just kicking shit around. I've never heard of a ghost kicking something out of something.
Well, true, but at the same time, there are multiple ghost stories of ghosts that don't know they're dead. They're just reliving a certain moment over and over again. So something like that could still have the same effect based on how we see it.
That would be fine. That would be fine, except for the fact that you're not talking about a living ghost. This is actually a dead, hanging from a tree ghost whose feet kick up dirt. It's not a ghost like alive walking over and picking up dirt. They're saying he's fucking perpetually hanging and swinging.
Would that make him a zombie ghost?
Yeah, how is he dead and a ghost? Like, as a ghost, he's still a dead man hanging and swinging.
But, okay, someone that tall that they had to go to that much effort to hang, who's to say he hung and died instantly? What if it is the ghost of him struggling to...
Again, that's irrelevant. The problem here is that his feet, which are kicking, are what's moving the dirt. Right. It's not like a ghost walking and making a conscious decision. Yeah, but there's no rope. That means the rope is a ghost too. Because he's hanging from a fucking rope that's not there. My point is like, I don't know any other haunts that are like, this guy got caught up in a fish net, and now it's like there's a fish net being dragged behind him. Because that's weird.
You know, we are very funny in the fact that we...
Yeah, you know, I was marveling.
Hey, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so how long after I say, can you hear me, are you responding?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
And we're back.
Boo.
Brandy was saying that we were funny.
Oh, yes.
She's lying. We ain't funny. We're dumb as hell.
Well, I for one find it funny that we all like ghost stories and are fascinated by ghost stories and believe in the possibilities of ghost stories. And yet we're always the skeptics about, yeah, but it could have been done this way. It could have happened this way.
I think like the biggest believers are the ones that can find all the things that are the lie about it or are the legend about it and get down to the core of it. That's the unexplainable.
I'll tell you, man, when it comes to like paranormal shows, the show that I like the most was probably like Ghost Hunters, because in Ghost Hunters they're very, very skeptic.
Yeah.
To the point that they've had times when they caught people that they went to go and investigate, trying to make it seem like their place is haunted. And they were like, no, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, and they were always very big on trying to recreate anything they did catch, just like to see if it was possible to do that.
If they heard a sound, they would do some scientific tests to see if they could, oh my, you're making noise again.
Yeah, we're going to have to wrap this up. I'm losing cell connection.
Okay, well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Hole.
Mosquitoes hole.
You guys stay rotten.
Stay rotten.
Guys, have a rotten morning.